the Barletta team at Ligris, and I'm so excited to have Danielle here today. Danielle from DK Home Staging and Design, one of my favorite people. We'll get to the story of how we know each other and all that, but I'm so excited to have an amazing stager here because for my realtors out there, there's such a difference between a home that's staged and a home that's not staged. So I figured at the beginning of the year, this is a great opportunity to learn about staging, learn about Danielle specifically, and see how you guys can take your listings to the next level. So thank you, Danielle, for coming. I'm so excited to have you.
Privilege to talk with you
So
on
tell
this
us a little bit
level.
about yourself, kind of the history of DK Home Staging, how you got here. Take it away.
So I am new to the staging community within the last year, but I am no stranger to the real estate industry. I've been in the industry for almost 20 years now. I started off in lending for 15 years, working with various banks and brokerages. And then I branched out into the law side, which I have been a proud real estate paralegal for the past 5 years with Ligris and Associates. And that has been such an education and my home. But my passion for decor has been in me for a very long time. And I just didn't know where to put that passion into my career without interrupting my full-time job. But staging was definitely a great home for it. And it all started by just a friend of mine who is a very good realtor, reached out to me last year and had a house that needed some occupied staging. And he said, I know you have an eye for design. I know this is what you love. Do you mind just coming, just take a look at the property? Let me know what you think, how we can make it, open house ready and picture ready. And it all snowballed from there. It just manifested. It was just very organic for
Yeah.
me. This
Well,
is great.
it's one of those things where I feel like things that are meant to be will always be. And in some one way or the other, it came to you. And I love that it was a friend who knew you, who knew because you are a very stylish person. You always are like, I have no eye for design. I have like, somebody says that looks good. I'm like, yeah, it looks good on you. I don't know how to do it for me. Like you just have that in you. It's innate. So it's really cool that your friend was able to, acknowledge that and like bring you into that first experience.
Yeah, and it snowballed from there. Not only am I working with them, I'm also other realtors now saw my product and reach out to me, and it definitely grew my portfolio. So thank you, Kyle from Berkshire Hathaway Property Cousins, for giving birth to this for me.
I
And
remember that the first stage. I remember the videos, the pictures that you took. It's an amazing. So I guess for those agents out there who are watching, who have heard about staging, but maybe don't know the difference between like when a developer hires you or you have a vacant home that's not occupied versus, you live at your home or you have a realtor who has a client who's living there.
yeah.
What's the difference? You mentioned occupied staging versus not. How
Mhm.
do you still bring in your own things? Do you use their things? Sort of maybe first talk about like the vacant staging and then we can talk about the occupied.
Yeah, so the vacant staging, you make a very good point about developers. Developers have already put in so much money into buying the land, improving the structure, or just tearing down the structure altogether and making a whole new, beautiful home. Most of the times, they don't like to invest in staging because they think obviously the house speaks for itself. The whole new design's brand new. What's not to love? But I recently visited a newly developed open house, and there were people walking around, obviously taking a look at it. And at the end of their tour, I heard the listing agent ask, "So, what did you think?" And the gentleman said, "It's a lot of house."
Mm-hmm.
So it was very overwhelming to them because a buyer is trying to envision themselves in that home, especially on the main floor where everyone congregates, like living
Oh yeah.
room, dining room, kitchen. And they're thinking, well, what furniture of mine will go here, or what furniture of mine will go there? So even though the home is brand new and is absolutely like state of the art appliances and so forth, the buyers are trying to make an emotional connection for them to say, this is it for us.
Right.
So by not staging a newly developed house, you're missing out on opportunities for people to make offers quicker because
Absolutely.
they are wasting their time trying to put themselves in that space.
Right. No, and this is such a great point because also like the style of today really are these open floor plans. And if you
Mm-hmm.
have this open space without definition with furniture,
Mm-hmm.
it's really difficult to visualize, well, what's going there? Is my couch going to fit? Am I have to buy a new couch because
A
this
new
looks
couch.
huge? You
Mm-hmm.
know,
Yeah. Takes
awesome.
that 10 seconds to set an impression.
Oh
And if
yeah.
something feels like you're walking into a museum, it's cold, it's uninviting,
Yep.
it doesn't feel lived in, then they're gonna move on to the next. That
Yep.
is staged. And they're like,
Right.
oh, now I see how I can live.
Totally. Okay. So that's a great point. I think that that's awesome because it's, again, it truly is that, especially if you don't have style like me, where you like want to be able to see what it's going to look like, or it could look like to take little notes for yourself. So when, you are maybe going to buy your new furniture, you can have that impression of what you staged there.
Mhm.
So it definitely makes a huge difference for
And
the
it's
big,
worth the investment. The developers know that it is. I know you put so much money into building this beautiful home,
yeah.
but the extra 5 to 8 thousand is going to get you to release whatever mortgage you took on it. It's going to get you more people to come in and maybe have a bidding war on the
Yeah.
property, and
Which
sell it faster.
one stage that you've done recently was a renovation, a large renovation scale, beautiful home in North Andover. And it was one of those where there was a lot of, what all the things that are very popular now, white and grays. And you can get lost in that if you don't have furniture to break it up. And that
Right?
house turned into like a very popular house for agents to go and like, do their
Their
promo
content.
videos. It was the
Mhm,
hot house.
mhm.
And I
I
don't
didn't
think it
want to
would have,
leave after I staged it. I'm like, we're not going home.
yeah. This is not a saying. Yeah. Uh, well, but it became that because of course, the product was beautiful, but then the added layer of it feeling like a home at that point.
Mhm.
So bravo on that project for
Yeah,
sure.
everything is very modern today,
Yeah.
today's trends. And that could be intimidating to some people, but with the right accessories and, like you said, the right colors, the furniture may be a little modern looking, but if you make it look inviting and cozy and like, oh yeah, I can sit here and watch Sunday's football game,
Yeah.
that can distract from the modern feel for
Absolutely.
sure.
All right, so let's shift to, a realtor who has a property that their clients are currently living in. And I feel like from a realtor's perspective, sometimes if they're new to staging, they may feel like, am I bringing up staging because they're going to feel offended that
Yeah.
I don't like their furniture or I'm trying to tell them something. But I feel like, well, I mean, what's your perspective or what sort of tools of a
You're
conversation you can help agents with?
you're so right. You have to handle the situation delicately because these homeowners who are living in their homes for years, decades, even. I'll give you a prime example. My in-laws who live next door have been in their home for 20 plus years, and they finally decided, like, we're near retirement, we want to downsize, and we're going to put the house on the market. And they have these mirrors that are in their living room, and they've been attached to those mirrors because the grandkids play with the mirrors and all the pets in the family, and the family just love these mirrors. And I believe their realtor said the mirrors have to go.
Yeah.
It's
Right to
not,
the
it's
point.
right, it's an eye, like an eyesore, but you have to handle the situation with occupied homes delicately because you don't want to take away from what those homeowners loved so much about their home. But bringing in fresh elements, like new pillows or rearranging the furniture in a different way, just so prospective buyers can say, oh, this space is actually bigger than how it looks.
Mm.
I did an occupied stage in Wellesley not too long ago. Charming house, the most amazing architecture, and you can tell it was lived in. The furniture wasn't giving the space the attention it deserved. So
Mm.
all I simply did was move a few things around. I brought in a new coffee table. I brought in some new pillows. I added a mirror to a wall, fresh bedding. Just by reorganizing the furniture in a different way and bringing in newer elements like pillows and bedding and other like some more wall decor,
Mm.
really reinvents the house. And the
Absolutely.
homeowners just loved it. It was kind of a love it or list it situation
Yeah. Like
because
maybe
as
I stay.
because as I was doing the stage with the agent, because he was very hands on with this one, it was the house looked like Home Alone. That's how beautiful it was. A big brick, beautiful house. And the homeowner was just like, wow, wow, like I wish I knew I did this, or I didn't know that the room could look like this. They kind of fall in love with it. But the end of the story is that it got many offers and it went for $40,000 over the listing price for a house that didn't have central air.
Wow.
Rows of people came in from looking at the MLS listings and they even fell even more in love with it when they came in. Like, oh my gosh, it's so beautifully decorated. Like they felt at home as soon as you came in. We had the fire lit, we had illuminating candles. Like, it was just so inviting that it went like that, less than 30 days.
And so one thing that I feel like has become a popular thing in all industries, AI and all this stuff. So AI generated staging, or I don't know what they call it, digital staging.
Yeah, digital, yeah, the
Okay.
digital staging.
What,
Yeah,
how are you? I mean, I have
virtual
my feelings.
staging.
Right. I have my feelings about it. I'm curious to hear
Yeah.
yours.
I don't think it's competitive.
Yeah.
A picture can say 1,000 words, but then when you walk into the space and it's vacant, it's not what you thought, then it's someone's going to turn right around and say
100%. That I feel like
false advertising.
100%. I think that it agreed. Like I know that I've been to homes where you see something digitally staged and you're like, oh, okay. And then you walk in and you're like, well, that wasn't, and it just automatically kind of gives you this negative feeling
Mhm.
because you feel kind of like what's it called? Like a bait and switch. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
exactly. Yeah, like you
Um,
got catfished,
yes, exactly, exactly.
filters, all that. I mean, yeah, pictures can be enhanced absolutely with lighting and so forth, but I think virtual staging is on its way out because I think a lot of agents use that before. I could tell on MLS listing when something is digitally staged because what they're doing is they're showing what it can look like and then they show what it actually does look like
Yeah.
sometimes, like the before
Filter
and
the right,
after.
right.
Right, but who's going to walk around with an MLS listing? They're not looking at the MLS listing and
No.
looking at what it is
And
now, what it can be, what it
photos,
can
photos
be.
itself always are not always, but photos themselves can also be kind of distracting from what, again, like photos could look amazing and then you go there and then it's not. So I feel like it is kind of a disservice to the buying population because you just don't want them to walk into what feels like a negative thing because it's not what they anticipated.
Exactly. It sets the mood right away, like,
Yeah.
oh, that's deceptive.
Yeah.
This is
No, I
definitely not,
agree.
this is not the space I thought it was.
Yeah.
When somebody walked in without that MLS listing and says, oh, wow, like look at the living room. Oh, the kids can have fun on this corner. Oh,
Mhm.
look at the dining room. Like I can put 8 chairs, not
Right.
6 chairs,
Right.
and I can have a big dining party if I want.
Mhm.
Um, Especially with smaller rooms too, most stages will make it an office But I like to display bedrooms as bedrooms. Even if it's a twin bed, you have to make sure you show all of the bedrooms.
Yeah.
Of course, like an office on the main floor is a good thing to show.
Yeah.
But all bedrooms should be a bedroom, no matter how size of the bed, because if someone has a small child, they're like, oh, this can be her room. This could
Yeah.
be his room. Oh, the twin bed is perfect. So I think staging all bedrooms is so essential. So
For
people
sure.
with families know that everybody can fit there
Yeah.
comfortably.
Exactly. Because they know that if a bed fits, obviously a desk is going to fit.
Hmm.
So might as well show like the maximum potential of a room.
Yeah. So
As
occupied staging is just as essential as vacant staging. Staging itself, I think, should come on the list on the menu
yeah.
with the agent, and say, you have a beautiful home. I'm so happy you lived in here for so many years. But I do have a designer who could come in and move around things a little bit, just so you have more opportunities for more buyers to see the appreciation of the space for what it is. So I
Yeah.
think that's just like the delicate way of letting a homeowner know you have a great space, but I have someone who can come in and make the space even be elevated for you.
Yeah. And so for, someone who's never hired a stager before, sort of what's the process? Like, how do you get started with a realtor, or a homeowner?
So I rarely get homeowners that reach out because they've not really, the common consumer, if they're not in this profession, they really don't know that we exist. It's up to their agent or their team to let them know that this is a service out there for them. So it's primarily the agents that will reach out to the stager. Most commonly, they have stages that they work closely with because they know their style.
Mhm.
But in my opinion, I think agents should have at least two or three in their rotation because we're all different. We all have different styles. We all have different price points.
Yeah. And
So it's
inventory
usually,
too.
what's that?
And inventory and how like the
Oh,
style,
inventory too,
right?
right. Availability to
Right.
inventory. You can get a stager who does this all day, every day. Like they have a warehouse for sure. But if they have 5, 6 homes going already, they may be short on inventory. So again, the timing of it.
Right.
Um, but what you originally do is, if the agent reaches out to me and says, I have a home, either it's vacant and occupied, you come over with me one day, do a walkthrough. So you do a consultation. We come with our measuring tape.
Mhm.
We take a look at what the space has to offer, and then we do a proposal and what rooms we will stage, and then we give the proposal to the realtor. Now, it's either the realtor who's actually paying for it as part of their service to their client or the homeowner. So whoever is paying for the service, I will give the proposal to, and it's up to them to move forward from there.
So that's great for people who've never, hired a stranger before. I think that's super helpful because they can then know before they're committed, really, like what you're envisioning, what the price point is based off of the square footage or based off of the rooms that you guys discuss actually make sense for
Right,
staging or not needed or whatever.
right.
So that's super helpful.
Yeah, it's good to know about budget up front because stagers who deal with developers in these big modern homes can charge anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000. An occupied home is a little bit different.
Mhm.
So it could be anywhere from $700 to $2,000. So in a lower price point. But when you have a vacant home, depending on how many rooms you want to stage, some stages go according to square footage that they charge, or they charge according to how many rooms they're going to be filling, or how much inventory they're going to have to pull. That's the misconception. Everyone just says, oh, they're just bringing pillows. It's
Yeah.
more than that. You're spending, the moment you hire us, we start designing, we stop pulling inventory, we stop pulling colors. Like it's a process, and
Yeah.
it takes hours,
Yeah.
if not
And
days.
And out of curiosity, again, for someone who is not creative and probably lives,
You are
very
creative in
bare
your
house,
own way. Let's.
in my own way, not in anything pretty or things. But do you think you will shift at any point to include interior design for homeowners who already are in their homes?
I would love to include that, but I want to make sure that I am educated correctly, like pick and paint colors and,
Mm,
you know, finishes on hardwood floors. I would love to add that to my repertoire, but I want to make sure that I'm giving somebody um, full education on that. So I am taking a designing certification right now with Staging Studio, which is a great online tool with textiles and color patterns and keeping up with today's trends. So, and paint colors and how high do you really need to put a picture on a wall at 67 inches from the floor. Like these are things that a stager should know and to bring to their potential clients so the client feels assured that this person is not just pulling things from Home Goods and
yeah.
um,
Yeah.
and making sure that their eye is going to get the end result that they're looking for.
Absolutely. I love that. Well, I am so glad we had an opportunity to chat
Me
today and sort of
too.
talk through your process and what you do. And I'm just so excited for this journey to continue and for you to get crazy big in all of this arena and just super, super busy. So if you realtors out there who need a stager or have a stager and need another one, because again, you should take a look at Danielle's portfolio, what she's done, see if maybe that is aesthetically better for your client. It's okay to have more than one person for each sort of referral. Besides attorneys, you can only refer me. Just kidding.
Liz Pauletta every day, all day.
But no, but honestly, I think that there's a thing about personalities. And so sometimes I know that I may not get a client because it just may not be a personality fit and they're better suited for someone else. And I think that's just in this business in general. We want our clients to feel comfortable. So I think that you are an awesome resource and I really hope you'll get some realtors reaching out. And if you have any questions for Danielle, how do they get in touch with
You can go on my IG at DK Home Staging. You can email me at djkhomedesign@gmail.com, or you can give me a call, 508-934-9773.
you? And I will tag her Instagram handle so that way you guys can easily follow her. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, Danielle.
I
Thanks for
appreciate
taking the
all your
time.
support. It's powerful women like yourself that give me the motivation and inspiration to keep
I'm
on pursuing this.
I'm so glad you have. Awesome.
Appreciate you.
Talk to you soon.
Talk
Bye.
to you soon. Bye.